development partners, colleagues from WFP and sister UN agencies, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacqueline de Groot and I'm the country director for WFP Timor-Leste. And I will be guiding you through a bit of a scene setter to put us all in the mindset of why we're all here today and for the coming days. And basically to give the context why nutrition-sensitive social protection matters. And thereby also introduce, as our Master of Ceremony already said, the business case for food security and nutrition-sensitive social protection, which is a flagship global evidence and advocacy piece that will soon be published by WFP, and to talk a little bit more about the Global Task Force for Social Protection and Nutrition as a key platform for action. We'll also explore the urgency of addressing hunger and malnutrition, the economic and social rationale for investing in integrated solutions, and the role of global collaboration. So let us begin by understanding the global current trends and why this moment calls for decisive action. Let me see if we have the presentation. There we go, and I can click it, right? Maybe not. Oh, need to turn it on, that's always a good thing to do. There we go. Okay, so you can see here on the nice graph on the right side of the slide, the global trends on hunger and social protection have experienced a concerning reversal. So you can see between 2010 and 2018, the hunger levels were declining while social protection coverage was expanding. So this is aligned with our expectations. You know, we put more money in it, hunger declines. However, after 2018, this trend reversed. So hunger began to rise again despite continued growth in social protection coverage, particularly during COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Today, hunger remains alarmingly high, with an estimated 720 million people facing hunger in 2024 and 2.3 billion experiencing moderate or severe food insecurity. Malnutrition takes many forms. 23% of children under 5 are stunted, again globally, 6.6% are wasted, and 5.5% are overweight. Micronutrient deficiencies affect 2/3 of women of reproductive age, highlighting the depth of nutritional challenges. And despite progress in social protection, coverage remains inadequate. 76% of children lack effective coverage, and women continue to face persistent gaps compared to men. These figures underscore the urgent need for integrated solutions that address both income and nutritional vulnerabilities. So why now? The urgency to act on food insecurity and malnutrition has never been greater. Rising inequalities, climate shocks, and conflicts are exacerbating vulnerabilities worldwide. The cost of a healthy diet has surged to $4.46 as the purchasing power parity per person per day in 2024, making it unaffordable for 32% of the global population, that is nearly 3 billion people. Climate shocks alone increase the risk of wasting among children by 50%, increasing the challenges faced by vulnerable populations. These dynamics create a perfect storm that threatens progress toward global nutrition and food security goals and making immediate and coordinated action essential. Fragile contexts bear the brunt of these crises, with 123 million people displaced in 2024. Poverty and malnutrition are deeply interconnected, forming a vicious cycle that perpetuates poor health, low productivity, and intergenerational poverty. Social protection programs often focus on income poverty, but fail to address nutritional vulnerabilities, leaving critical gaps in outcomes. Targeting nutritionally vulnerable groups, such as children under 5 and pregnant and lactating women, is essential for meaningful impact. Without addressing these linkages, interventions risk being ineffective, as income support alone cannot resolve the complex driver of malnutrition. Therefore, a holistic approach that integrates nutrition objectives in social protection systems is necessary to break this cycle and promote sustainable development. Nutrition-sensitive protection, or NSSP in short, offers a transformative solution to address the connected challenges of poverty and malnutrition. And NSSP, even I have difficulty with that abbreviation. So nutrition-sensitive social protection goes beyond food security by ensuring that social protection systems are designed not only to address poverty, food insecurity, but also to achieve better nutritional outcomes for the vulnerable populations. It involves integrating pathways to better nutrition, such as improving diet quality, care practices, health services, and water, sanitation, and hygiene. Therefore, often needing also within a government the collaboration of different ministries. By integrating nutrition objectives into social protection systems, such as by ensuring transfers are sufficient to meet the costs of a healthy diet for the whole family, or by providing supplements and specialized nutritious foods, nutrition-sensitive social protection programs can buffer shocks, helping households maintain food consumption and avoid harmful coping strategies like skipping meals or pulling children out of school. This integrated approach strengthens resilience and promotes human capital development. Now, after setting a little bit of the global scene, which unfortunately is not a very positive story, now I hope to bring a little bit more positivity by focusing on what we can also do. So I'd like to start by introducing the business case on social protection for food security and nutrition. So the business case is a joint initiative between the Center for Social Protection at the Institute of Development Studies in the United Kingdom and WFP, and is prepared under the umbrella of the Global Task Force on Social Protection for Nutrition. It provides compelling and strategic evidence for investing in NSSP with the aim to mobilize cross-sectoral action on NSSP to improve food security and nutrition outcomes. Its primary audience are governments, and by extension those that provide technical assistance and finance to governments to support their decision-making, for internal advocacy with key actors such as ministries of finance, evidence-based engagement with partners, and as rationales for investments in integrated systems. Key findings highlight the costs of inaction, the return on investment, and the multiplier effects, about which we'll talk a little bit more in the coming slides. These findings will help position NSSP as a strategic investment for resilience and human capital, and thereby hopefully help you all to convince your own governments to focus on this, as I think I'm already talking a little bit for a convinced audience here. It also includes evidence on the cost of poor design and implementation. For example, poorly designed social protection programs have historically failed to improve child nutrition outcomes, but recent evidence shows that adding components like social and behavioral change communication, it's a component we also heard from the senator about earlier today, and cash transfers can significantly enhance results when transfers are adequate for a healthy diet. Failing to act on malnutrition and food insecurity carries staggering economic and human costs. Over the next decade, the global economic burden is projected at $41 trillion, including $21 trillion in productivity losses and $20 trillion from overweight and obesity. The human toll includes 6.2 million additional child deaths, 27 million more stunted children, and 144 million additional cases of maternal anemia. Sorry, I told you I was going to be more positive, but still also telling you a little bit of what may happen if we don't take action altogether. In Latin America and Caribbean, the double burden of malnutrition can cost up to 16% of GDP, and this has been witnessed in Guatemala. And education's losses are equally severe. Stunted children achieve fewer years of schooling, and up to 18% of school repetitions are linked to stunting. Another example from Zimbabwe showed the loss of 0.7 grades of schooling, and a 7-month delay in school enrollment has resulted in a 12% lifetime wealth loss. These figures emphasize that inaction is not an option. Okay, now I'm really going to go to the more positive side, the return on investment. Now, if we invest in the right and integrated way, it can really yield exceptional returns. Every dollar invested in nutrition generates up to $23 in economic benefit. Some programs amplify this, delivering a return on investment between $7 and $5 per dollar invested due to their multi-sectoral benefits. Evidence from 16 countries shows that anticipatory cash transfers delivered ahead of forecasted hazards positively improve food consumption scores in 8 out of the 10 cases and reduce harmful coping strategies in 11 out of the 14 cases. Furthermore, increasing social protection spending by just 1% of GDP can raise the GDP by 1.9%, reduce poverty, and boost employment and tax revenue. These findings make a strong case for prioritizing NSSP as a high-impact investment. Now, the study goes on to talk about many more positive effects, like multiplier effects, which are really added value to the economy, and provides several examples from different countries at how this can be achieved. I don't want to go through all of them, but you will see some here on the slide that will be available, and obviously also in the case study as soon as it gets published. I do want to take a couple of minutes to talk to you also about the Global Task Force. So the Global Task Force, and we heard already a little bit about it before, it's a strategic initiative, and it's aimed at addressing the growing challenges of hunger and malnutrition faced by fragile and least developed countries, through deliberate policy efforts and investments enhancing nutrition-sensitive social protection systems. The Global Task Force, or GTF, was officially launched in July 2024 and is chaired, as Her Excellency the Vice Minister already said, by His Excellency José Ramos Horta, the President of Timor-Leste, and WFP serves as its secretariat. The platform promotes global advocacy, peer learning, and South-South and triangular cooperation, amplifying the voices of fragile and least developed countries. The GTF aims to connect with other global initiatives, such as, for example, the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. Since its inception, the GTF achieved significant milestones, thanks to the financial support from France. The official launch took place at the UN High-Level Political Forum in New York in July 2024, and the GTF also was visible at the Committee for Food Security in the same year, and Nutrition for Growth Summit in Paris in March 2025. In February of this year, the Global Task Force and WFP launched the first Policy and Focus magazine, which is a document featuring 22 policy papers from over 50 experts. And last month, high-level engagement continued at the Second World Summit for Social Development in Doha. To continue with the peer learning component, exchanges between Timor-Leste and Pakistan occurred in 2024 and 2025, and today we're all part of the first large cross-country learning event. These milestones reflect the GTF's growing commitment to global collaboration. And during this week, we really hope to discuss with all of you how the Global Task Force can support your countries, and we of course also hope that you will join all of us in the GTF. For closure, I would like to highlight a couple of recommendations or calls for action that are included in the business case. Collective action is essential to break the cycle of poverty, hunger and malnutrition and achieve zero hunger. So the recommendations are really focused on, as I said, mainly the government, but there are recommendations for all different partners engaged in nutrition-sensitive social protection. So to governments, the recommendation is to institutionalize NSP in your development agendas, to establish cross-sectoral coordination mechanisms and allocate domestic resources to scale up integrated programs. To partners, it's to support financing, to provide technical assistance and cross-country learning, and align efforts across sectors and agencies to avoid fragmentation and duplication. To civil society and academia, to continue generating evidence, fostering accountability and amplifying community voices. And finally, all stakeholders are encouraged to engage with global platforms such as the Global Task Force, share evidence and learnings, like we're doing this week, and advocate for NSSP at the highest level. Together, we can create resilient social protection systems that deliver better nutrition and food security outcomes for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacqueline. It was wonderful hearing you, and the steps that you have mentioned, it really denotes how we have seen it unfolding in Pakistan. Now we'll have, we are nicely marching towards going or having a deep dive into the programs. So we heard from the leaders, and then we heard the business case. So now is the session where we would like to have a bit of deeper dive into Benazir Nashonuma Programme, and then into the Timor-Leste's intervention too. For that, I would like to invite Dr. Azaz. He is Director General of National Socioeconomic Registry, conditional cash transfer program at BISP. And just to mention that the portfolio he has covers the targeting platform, the registry, which holds 38.7 million households data of the country, and that sets the foundation where you identify the vulnerable households who belong to poorest of poor segment, and then you have a targeted intervention, and then you work with those families, you work on education programs, you work on their health and nutrition. For that, Dr. Asam, we request you to come forward. Thank you. इसको भी यूज कर लीजिए
जी थैंक यू मच नुमान साहब Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon everybody. This is indeed a very great pleasure because this morning we had a meeting with some delegates with the chairperson of BISP, and we came to know across with the previous sessions which Timor-Leste came to Pakistan, and then it originated, it led to a scenario, if I'm not wrongly pronouncing it. So this is really a pride for BISP as well, that it gives a platform to the rest of the world, that how a program like BNP, Benazir Nashonuma Programme, can be replicated. So to be honest, it's a pride for all of us as well, if the learnings from BISP can be propagated in the rest part of the world. So as my colleague Navan said, I am also leading one of the biggest platform, repository, which is a National Socioeconomic Registry in Pakistan. This National Socioeconomic Registry is the sole source for targeting the Benazir Nashonuma Programme beneficiaries as well. So I'll be boring you people, but please bear with me just a couple of minutes. I'll give a brief presentation as well. So I just wanted to take you around the complete journey of the Benazir Nashonuma Programme. Whatever BISP does, we do it in the piloting phase first, and then we replicate it to roll it out. So similarly, in the case of Nashonuma Programme, because as most of you people will be aware of, that BISP started back in 2008 with a cash transfer program only, and later on, as we know that the social protection is not just only giving them cash stipend, so it's much more beyond it. So we stepped into the education program as well as Sila Talim program, as well as then after that we stepped into the health and nutrition program as well, so that we can properly cover up the vulnerable families in social protection program, which is the BISP, the largest program of Pakistan. So since 2010 to 17, we have had different studies done by AKU on the development of own SNF for mother and children, fill the nutrition gap survey, and the recommendations for the designing first 1,000 days of intervention package. So it took a lot, but obviously there was a reason behind it, so that we wanted to have evidence-based learning and then to roll out the program as the BISP is at the moment. Then the randomized control trials were done by AKU to test a variation of interventions. This took about 5 years, from 2015 to 2019. Then a study on first 6 months of children for combination of SNF and UCT along with the SBC was effective in preventing the stunting. So as I earlier said, that what BISP does is we do it in the piloting first. So we did the piloting on the SNF as well as with UCT, because in UCT, Benazir Support Program provides the cash stipend which are unconditional, and although that provides the diversity option as well, but in this specific case in health and Nashonuma, it is more precise because the commodity component is embedded in this program. So we provide SNF as well along with the social and behavior change component. So then in 2020, actually this BNP Benazir Nashonuma Program was launched back in April 2020 in 9 districts, again with piloting in 9 districts and rolled out to 7 districts, 15 districts, and at the moment we are across Pakistan. And we are very much thankful to World Food Program as well, because the World Food Program is the key partner in this BNP, as well as NICE and WHO are also the key partners in BNP. So far 50 if I'm not wrong, 547 facilitation centers are being operationalized by World Food Program across the Pakistan. Here are some of the key partners who are implementing this program. So obviously the Department of Health, who is having all the infrastructure available, is providing us the health infrastructure and the logistic support. So most of these facilitation centers, the 547 facilitation centers, are actually hosted by Health Department of provinces. Then we have UNICEF as well. So UNICEF is engaged in procurement of RUTF and MMS. Then they are responsible for social and behavior change component, which is actually performing very tremendously, because with the help of SBCC component, we have seen very positive impact in enrollment of these beneficiaries and utilization of the SNF, as well as because the social and behavior change component provides the set of do's and don'ts. So that is also very remarkable task done by the UNICEF. Then we have WHO as our implementing partner. So WHO is responsible for managing the nutrition stabilization centers, where the treatment of CMAM cases are being referred to them. And obviously these are also very critical cases where the acute malnutrition cases are referred to them. But so far the results are again very positive, because we hardly find any untreated or unsuccessful case by WHO. So they are also performing very well in supporting this BNP program. And as I said, the best implementing partner, the WFP, goes to them for facilitating us through establishment of facilitation centers, through the provision of this HR resources, the social mobilization vision, then the provision of SNF and supply chain. The technical support obviously plays a lot, and the app development and maintenance. So recently we are in phase of developing of an app which will be giving us a glimpse of all the three partners working in the field, what has been done, so that will be actually translated in the form of dashboard, which will be on very soon. This is a sort of short rundown to the whole program, because I said that the social mobilization component is very important. So out of our existing unpaid beneficiaries, they are mobilized through our different means. As they are our active BISP beneficiaries, they come to our counter. Then their status of either the pregnant or lactating state is confirmed by the health department staff. And then they are registered in our system. Then obviously we go through the costing procedure. We provide them the do's and don'ts during this pregnancy and lactating age. Then as this is a CCT, just conditional transfer, so the condition applies in this. So they have to bring back those empty sachets to our facilitation centers, have to be compliant for all those sites. They are the SBCC videos as well. They see it and go through all mechanism, and they bring back all these empty sachets on the time of every quarter. Once these compliance is noted in the system, they are provided with the next food elements for the next quarter, and they are given this cash stipend which directly goes to their accounts. So this is a rundown to our program. As I earlier said, these are 547 sites, facilitation centers, out of it 33 facilitation centers are in GB. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, these are 152. In Balochistan, there are 82 sites at the moment. In AJK, there are 28 sites. In Islamabad, we have one facilitation center. In Punjab, we have 106 facilitation centers. And in Sindh, again, we have 140 facilitation centers. So through these facilitation centers, so far we have covered about 3.9 million beneficiaries since the inception. And over 31 billion rupees have been dispersed in terms of cash transfer. So, but this does not cover up the commodity component. So in cash only, we have covered about 31 billion rupees. So the status graduated beneficiaries so far are 963,000 beneficiaries who have been graduated through these programs, and at the moment we have about 2.08 million beneficiaries who are actively enrolled under this program. Then this is the last part of my slide. The reason that we are celebrating this Benazir Nashonuma Programme success is actually highlighted by the third party, that is AKU Aga Khan University. So being an independent review firm, they have actually told us about the stunting rate for children, which was under 5 years previously as 40.2%, has been decreased by 6.4% through this BNP intervention. And if you particularly look into the first 6 months of it, it goes even lower than that, which is 20% reduction in the stunting age in the first 6 months of age. Similarly, if you see the immunization, this 0 dose has decreased by 10%. Underweight between 0 and 3 months have been reached to 5.6%, which has been reduced. And minimum dietary diversity have been increased by this program, 3.9%. And the small vulnerable newborns we have seen tremendous drop in it, which is 7 to 8% reduction in small vulnerable newborn weight. So, and obviously with this, there are factors as well, there is an embedded benefit of having skilled birth, because these beneficiaries come to the facilitation centers who are not actually very punctual come to the health department facilities and availing their services during the pregnancy. But this intervention, because they usually come after every 3 months in every trimester to facilitation centers, so obviously they will be born with the technical staff. So by that, the skilled birth assistance has been improved very, like it's above 7%, which is not reflected here. So with this, again, I'd say that we the BISP, having the 17 years of journey, successful journey, we are very much open to all the parts of the world, especially the Timor-Leste, Her Excellency Vice Minister here. So if ever our technical support, any sort of support is required, we will be there to help you out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Asim. So one thing which really strikes me, and even during the break, I was talking to a researcher from NUST here, that so what we do with the child later on, that's there, but having this much of stomach reduction in early part of the life, in those 6 months, where there is no, specialized nutritious food is not even given. So the only investment is the investment that you have done with the mother. So that pays off. So exactly what Madam Coco mentioned initially, it's that investment which pays you off as you go on. So we'll hear out from Timor-Leste now that how the program is shaping up. I request Her Excellency CU British Vice Minister come forward and give us an orientation of the program. Thank you. Ma'am, please. Thank you.
Yes, that's the one, okay. Okay, once again, good afternoon. I hope you all still awake. Okay, I will talk about Sanutrio, the journey that reflects Timor-Leste's commitment to addressing one of its most pressing challenges, the malnutrition. Where is it? Okay. Malnutrition is not just a health issue, it is a question of justice, dignity, and national development. Nearly 47% of Timorese children under 5 are stunned. 8.3% suffer from wasting, and almost 30% of women at the reproductive age experience anemia. These figures are alarming because malnutrition perpetuates inequality, constrains human capital, and costs our economy an estimated 2 to 3% of GDP annually. This is a cost we cannot afford. It is a barrier to our aspirations for prosperity and resilience. Against this breakdown, the Ministry of Social Solidarity and Inclusion, MSI, and the government of Timor-Leste began a journey of learning and collaboration. In 2023, at the Asia Pacific Social Protection Week Manila, facilitated by WFP and organized by ADB, we were introduced to the latest program innovations on nutrition-sensitive social protection and SSP. This includes the approach of connecting social protection with health education and WASH systems, employing a multi-sectoral strategy to address malnutrition. During this event, we had our first meeting with the government of Pakistan, learning about their Benazir Nashonuma Programme and engaging in policy and programmatic discussions. Later this year, at the 51st session of the Committee for Food Security Conference in Rome, we participated in thematic events and continued discussions and learning on NSSP with global counterparts and partners, including the government of Pakistan. In December 2023, His Excellency President José Ramos Horta issued a call for a coordinated government-led platform to address the interlinked challenge of hunger, malnutrition, and fragility through NSSP. This call led to the establishment of a global task force on social protection and nutrition, with Timor-Leste as its first chair and WFP serving as its secretariat. The platform was officially launched in July 2024 and has since served as a global advocacy mechanism and learning platform, connecting Timor-Leste social protection learning journey, including for the San Nutrio initiative, to global knowledge networks. Through GTF, we have facilitated peer learning, evidence sharing, and joint innovation via South-South and Triangle cooperation. To design a strong program, we believe we leverage South-South and Triangle cooperation. In April to May 2024, Timor-Leste conducted an SSTC study visit to Pakistan, facilitated by WFP, participating in technical and learning discussions with the government of Pakistan on BNP implementation. We visited Pakistan's provinces to witness program implementation at the field level. Later that year, at the 52nd session of the Committee for Food Security Conference in Rome, discussions and peer learnings were further enhanced with global counterparts and partners. In early 2025, a technical mission for Pakistan visited Timor-Leste, facilitated by WFP, providing crucial guidance, program design, and identify opportunities and gaps for successful implementation and long-term system building. Following the exchange and technical deliberations, the government of Timor-Leste decided to launch a new conditional cash transfer program, the Bolsa da Mãe Condicional, Saúde e Nutrição da Inanoa, BDMA Sanrio, targeting pregnant and breastfeeding women and children under the age of 3. And a decree law has also been issued. It's the Decree Law 2925 of 3rd September, and Decree Law has also been promulgated by the President. At this pilot stage, the program will be implemented in selected municipalities on South Covima, in Central Area, and in the enclave of Kusi, selected based on multi-dimensional vulnerability indicators, including food insecurity, malnutrition, and exposure to climate risk. The San Nutrio program will be implemented as a pilot between 2026 and 2028, and then nationally scaled up, based on the foundation of Bolsa da Mãe, and Geração now rebuilt programs. The Bolsa da Mãe target vulnerable households with cash, and the Geração provides cash transfer to pregnant, breastfeeding women and children under 6 universally. San Nutrio employs a more targeted approach during the critical growth window, the first 1,000 days plus. It focuses on vulnerable households, pregnant breastfeeding women and children under 3, and goes beyond cash transfer to include specialized nutrition foods, conditionally linked to the utilization of health services and social and behavior change and communication. This is an integrated multi-sectoral approach combining social protection, health, and nutrition platform. Between 2024 and 2025, MSSI and WFP deepened collaboration through joint resources mobilization efforts, including through for advocacy and planning with the Ministry of Finance, and for the allocation of domestic budgetary resources, and with the Asian Development Bank through the Inspire Technical Assistance Project. Catalytic support from the government of France funded the WFP, continued technical assistance to MSSI for early achievements, building momentum and confidence, and helping unlock further financing. In late 2024, the Asian Development Bank approved a 2.5 million technical assistance project formalized through an administrative agreement with WFP in March 2025. In August 2025, MSSI committed 4.8 million in multi-year domestic funding for the distribution of specialized nutritious food, signed via an MOU with WFP. This milestone reflects strong political will and sustainability. Beyond resources mobilization, we have achieved key system building milestones, including a draft program operational manual, which has been completed, a national poverty and vulnerability framework, a social registry questionnaire test for PFT, all of which are in the process of institutional socialization and final validation. The next steps, a mere data collection exercise in January 2026, supported by the National Statistics Institute, INTL, comprehensive training for enumerators, national and municipal staff, and frontline social workers in early 26. These steps will be fundamental for successful implementation. Summit 3 is more than a program. It is a transformational investment in Timor-Leste's future. It is about breaking the cycle of malnutrition and poverty, ensuring that every child has the right start in life. This initiative strengthens resilience and social cohesion, connecting social protection with health and nutrition systems in an integrated way. It also positions Timor-Leste as a proof case in implementing nutrition-sensitive social protection solutions in least developed challenges contexts, demonstrating how a small island nation emerging fragility can innovate and lead. Importantly, Sandu shows that when political will, catalytic donor support, and strategic partnership converge, systemic change is possible. Together, we are building a foundation for a healthier, more resilient Timor-Leste and contribute to co-learning to South-South triangle cooperation. Thank you for your attention. Thank you to all partners who have come to this journey. Thank you. Barak.
Thank you so much, colleagues. And this nicely shapes to our next item, which we have. But just before we dive into this panel discussion, where we are going to have leaders from government as well as from the development partners, what we've heard from Dr. Asim and from Her Excellency, it is coming up nicely that if there are investments done on each part of the program, be it targeting platform, and then you work collaboratively with partners and deliver. I believe these are stepping stones which are, in Pakistan's case, this is not just the hereditary mother and wife, but those investments are shaping for other, positive effects in other things. For example, recently, Prime Minister's office reached and the directive was issued to work on the immunization challenges too. So besides what we routinely do, we are expanding it with the expanded routine immunization program too. Reason being, there is a brand, there is years-long effort with communities, they trust the process, and they have gone through, the program has delivered, they have seen tangible changes in their families, in their neighborhoods, hence there is a trust. And we hope, hopefully, as the program in Timor-Leste unfolds and, communities take benefit of it, it'll be a stepping stone for other, government ministries to take it forward to deal with the education challenges and other challenges with countries facing. For the next session, which is a panel discussion, I'll request my colleague, Ms. Kurutul, she's Director, Media Coordination in BISP. She'll be hosting the next session. Ma'am, please. Thank you.
Esteemed delegates, dear partners and colleagues, Assalamu alaikum and a very warm good afternoon. To everyone present here in Islamabad and to those joining us virtually from across the regions and zones, welcome you all. To host you at this important convening under the Global Task Force on Social Protection for Nutrition, Cross-Country Learning and Knowledge Exchange. My name, as I already told you, Kurutul, and I'm Director Media Coordination and Outreach Department of Benazir Nashonuma Programme here in Islamabad. And today I have the honor of moderating today's panel discussion titled Pushing Forward for Social Protection for Nutrition at Home and Globally. So before we unfold the dialogue, let me begin with a simple reflection. Today's conversation is not only about institutions or policy frameworks, it's about people. It's about a child whose future growth may depend on nutritious meal that is served at home or school. It's about adolescent girl whose nutrition depends her health, her learning, and later the health of the child she may one day carry. It's about the mother whose own nourishment defines the strength and cognitive development of the next generation. And it is about the governments and global partners who believe deeply that nutrition is not a luxury at all. It's basic human right, it's a necessity. So I would like to invite the panel on stage. So to begin, I would request our distinguished speakers to please join us on stage. Mr. E. Pantin, Director of Policy Department, General Secretariat for National Social Protection Council, Cambodia. Please join us. I hope the bio would like to screen. And now I request Mr. Isfaq Wahid